Hello everyone. The video that I submitted through Zaption involved the law of cosines with some of the law of sines. So here's the worksheet that I have to go along with that. This worksheet intros just a reminder of the formulas for the law of cosines, which the students would have seen and covered in the video. Then it goes through a handful of examples involving finding sides and finding angles to make sure that they can do both of those things using the law of cosines. In addition to that, because it says find each measure, students would also have to use the law of sines to find some of the other missing measures. As we keep going here, we can see that there are some applications as well, so that you can apply this to a very specific scenario. We have streets here, race between these two people, Jack and Tom, and so on. If we go to the next part of this, then there are more examples. Just additional practice with the law of cosines, the law of sines, similar to the examples that we just went through. This time though, there is no prompt for when to solve for an angle, when to solve for a side. While it follows the same format as the notes part did, it doesn't specifically prompt that. So students are required to think a little bit more and actually go through this and to make decisions about what they're trying to solve for and how they would solve it. A few more application problems. And then the last thing here to go to this is a comparison between the law of sines and the law of cosines. It is important for students to be able to understand when they're using law of sines, when they're using law of cosines. And that's certainly a struggle that a lot of students have. So by going through this worksheet, they get another chance to say, which one do I use? Because there are times when you don't use the law of cosines. And after I've used the law of cosines, I am now able to use the law of sines. So it's pretty important for the students to be able to understand that there are scenarios when they use one versus the other. And that's one thing in my video that I tried to point out, was a reminder that if we have a side across from an angle, you would use the law of sines, and then the law of cosines would be when you don't have a side across from an angle, which would be further emphasized on this sheet. And then just a few more examples at the end here without a picture, so students need to be able to draw their own picture, assign the variables and the information based on the picture that they drew, and they should still be able to solve for any of the missing sides and missing angles. So there is my activity based on the law of cosines, which also includes the law of sines, how they're compared, solving different triangles, doing some application problems. Alright,